What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. We hope all is well wherever you are these days. We hope you're happy, safe, healthy, and goodness gracious, if Pat Mahomes, you are watching this video, what is up? The NFL world changed on Monday. The precedent for NFL quarterback contracts did, at least, when Pat Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs agreed to a long-term deal. Now, this deal looks a lot of different ways depending on how you want to look at it. A lot of people look at this as being a 10-year deal worth $450 million. A lot of people look at it as a 10-year deal being worth $477 million. A lot of people look at this as a 10-year deal being worth up to $503 million. $500 million. It's a 12-year deal because there's 2 years left on Pat Mahomes' rookie contract. Like I said, there's a lot of ways to look at this, but the facts are these. Pat Mahomes got paid by the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday. The facts are these. Next Wednesday is July 15th, which is the deadline for the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott to come to terms on a long-term agreement before this season. If you are somehow new to this, you somehow missed all the information to this point, don't worry, we're about to tell you exactly what that means. Okay. Cowboys, Dak Prescott. Each side wants a new deal. Cowboys want a 5-year deal. Dak Prescott wants a 4-year deal. But Pat Mahomes just signed a 10-year deal. I know. This deal obviously will have an impact on the Cowboys, on Dak Prescott in a lot of ways, and that makes things all the more complicated. If the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott do not agree to a long-term deal by next Wednesday, July 15th, he cannot sign a long-term deal this season. Those are the rules. You might remember that Le'Veon Bell, when he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers, experienced something like this, had a franchise tag, went through it again, and then decided, you know what, I'm not going to play on that deal. I'm going to sit out the whole season, waited all the way until free agency of the following year, which was last year in 2019, missed the whole 2018 season, signed with the New York Jets. Some people say Le'Veon won, some people didn't. It's almost as if there are a lot of opinions on a lot of different things. But if Dak and the Cowboys do not get a deal done, I have to stress this several times, he has to play on the franchise tag this season. That is, not the worst situation in the world. I mean, honestly, through the lens of football specifically, I mean, you look at this and Dak Prescott bet on himself last year, right? And that's what makes this situation so complicated, is that he is clearly a franchise quarterback. He is clearly somebody who deserves a long-term contract. He's clearly somebody who the Cowboys value. If they did not value him, they would not want to lock him down for 5 years. The reality is this. I mean, the financial situation of our world and of our country are clearly not what we knew them to be several months ago due to the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of people have assumed that this is going to have an impact on the salary cap next year, so it makes sense to have some trepidation in terms of handling your business. Everybody gets that in all facets of life. The Dallas Cowboys waited too long, to be frank. The Dallas Cowboys have been able to pay Dak Prescott since last year. If they had signed him to a long-term contract last year, they would have him on the books for something like $32, $33, maybe even $35 million per year, which looks like nothing now that Pat Mahomes has set the bar at $45 million per year. And to be clear, Pat Mahomes and Dak Prescott, not in the same category. Nobody's saying that. Before you tweet at me, at RJ Ochoa, before you hit me up in my Instagram DMs, at RJ Ochoa, nobody is saying that Dak Prescott and Pat Mahomes are the same thing. The reality, though, is the way that the market works at the quarterback position. A rising tide lifts all boats. Every time a quarterback gets a new contract, the floor for all deals rises. Pat Mahomes, he's not the same sort of thing, but he is a tidal wave that has completely lifted and completely thrown all this into the air. We have no idea what the new floor is for a quarterback contract, but we know that $45 million is the going rate for somebody like Pat Mahomes. Again, that is not who Dak Prescott is, but if the Cowboys were able to get a long-term deal done with Dak Prescott, which they have to do by July 15th, it would not surprise me in the least for it to be at a rate of $38 million a year, maybe even $40 million a year at this point in time. That is simply where this has gotten. It is no longer absurd to consider paying a quarterback that much money because that is the going rate. Would it be disastrous, to go back to our earlier point, if the Cowboys and Dak Prescott do not get a long-term deal done? I don't know. I mean, look, the reality is there are a lot of questions about this football season, and I think we all believe that the Dallas Cowboys have a lot of potential on the field to accomplish a lot of things. It would certainly make next offseason all the more complicated, especially if the salary cap does decrease due to our economic situation. And if that's a risk the Cowboys are willing to take, well, hey, that's up to them. But we have seen that when it comes to long-term contracts, they are not great at this. They were not great at handling the DeMarcus Lawrence deal. They were not great at handling the Ezekiel Elliott deal. And they have not been great at handling the Dak Prescott deal. If there's one flaw in the Cowboys' financial and accounting game, it's that they cannot, seemingly, They are not able to predict what the market will look like. They're not able to project and say, let's get in now because the market's going to look like this in a year or two. And so that's kind of where they have been on these big deals. But if they don't get a deal done, it will be risky. There's no doubt about it. It will be a very risky proposition for them. So we'll see what happens. Next week will be fun, as they say. And next week, what's behind me will look very different. My wife and I, our dog, we're moving right now. That's why things look a little bit different. We appreciate all of your patience. But don't worry, the content machine keeps coming. Bloggingtheboys.com, your home for the best Dallas Cowboys content on the web. You can also listen to two Dallas Cowboys podcasts every single day on the Blogging the Boys podcast feed, available wherever you get your podcasts. That's Apple devices, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio. We are all over the place. Also, do me one last favor. Have the absolute best day of all time. You know why? Because you deserve it. We'll see you next time.